Hello and welcome. This is episode 107 of Album Review, and today I have you the third studio album by Peter Gabriel, which is self-titled, or as referred to, Melt. It is the third one, I was correct. And this is requested by Rockdoo, and he wanted me to do some Peter Gabriel albums because I like Peter Gabriel era of Genesis. It is my favorite of the Genesis era. I'm not the biggest fan of the Phil Collins era. Don't get me wrong, he is a great singer as well, but Peter Gabriel is the definitive singer for that band. And well, since Rockdoo thought, well, if you like Peter Gabriel era, then you probably like his solo stuff as well. And I have heard of some songs by him, like Biko and Sledgehammer, of course, the obvious Sledgehammer. And Biko is actually on this album, so I'm gonna talk about that song for a bit. I've heard it numerous times on the radio, so there we are. But the self-titled album by Peter Gabriel has, I believe, 4 or 5 self-titled albums, so he's not the most creative one with album names, such as, well, there was also one band that did the same with, like Led Zeppelin, for example. But I mean, those albums are, well, I'm gonna give my opinion about the other 3 albums in the future because I have reviewed the last one, Fourth, Untitled, but you can look it up, one of my earlier reviews. But this album is art rock, new wave, progressive pop, post-punk and post-progressive. And I could definitely hear a lot of progressive elements blended in together with, well, of course, his classic Genesis days. Together with some new wave and pop, of course, and also some art rock, which also got some momentum going for itself in the 80s and really was perfected in the 90s with, well, a band like Radiohead. And you can definitely hear some new wave influences as on this album as well. Peter Gabriel really innovated with this record and really, well, moved with the time. Just did what was relevant then. And yeah, what was really popular in the 80s was, of course, glam, but he didn't do that, fortunately. He did do some new wave and some progressive pop, which also started to have some momentum in the 80s. So Peter Gabriel really moved greatly with the time, and he certainly did that on this record as well. Let's go into the track listing a bit. The first song is Intruder, and this is, I believe, a fan favorite. And the first song of the record is also a very important one. So you want to start off strong with the record so you can have a bit of an image how the other 9 songs are gonna sound the rest of the album. And personally I enjoyed it, but it was a bit ominous, it was a bit avant-garde, I would say. The Intruder track, still enjoyable one at that, almost clocking in at 5 minutes. Although it is not the most accessible track, but it still is a great one at that, a great track. And probably the most perfect representation of what the album is all about. The progressive pop elements, the new wave, the avant-garde style that Peter Gabriel is going for is, in my opinion, perfected, perfectly represented on Intruder, the opening track. No Self-Control is another great track, mostly dominated by the keyboards by Larry Fest, or he plays the synthesizer. And yeah, this song is a bit more new wave-ish. It still is really enjoyable. Not as good, I would say, as Intruder, but still an enjoyable one at that. And actually one song that was really misleading for me was Start. And Start, I think, is a great track. Yeah, I thought to myself, well, Peter Gabriel is a bit going for the sad vibes, for a bit of the sad theme on this album. And Start was basically the perfect representation of that. And well, I thought to myself, I really love this track, and maybe this is my favorite of the record. If I'm gonna talk about it, then I'm gonna definitely mention Start. But the problem was that the problem is that the song is only 1.5 minutes long, so it is more of a transition, and this is really a missed potential here, because Start just sounds great, man. It probably is. It probably has the best sound of the record. Really, some really great piano playing by, I believe, Peter Gabriel. Yes, he does, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, but the piano playing on here is absolutely phenomenal. The vocals by Peter Gabriel are just great, one of his best. So it is really sad that this song is mostly a transition and not really a song. So yeah, that is really sad. Speaking of sad, Family Snapshot, which is the fifth song. The fifth song for me, Family Snapshot, is a bit similar to Start, so it is one of my favorites because it is really emotional. And Family Snapshot surely delivers in that emotional part, in the feels. It really leads you there. It talks about, I believe, the family snapshots that Peter Gabriel had when he was a kid, and now he doesn't have his family anymore, I believe, or he's working all the time, so he doesn't have time for his family, I believe. So Family Snapshot is surely just really an emotional track, and yeah, it just gets me every time when I listen to it. Really emotional. Games Without Frontiers is another one, another great track that is a bit faster in pace, just talking about just the games that somebody plays with you. I believe it is about that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but just talking about the games that you want to win, or the games in general, the little games that people sometimes play with you. Some dirty people out there, but this song is kind of relatable. I'm just talking a bit out of my ass right there, but Games Without Frontiers still sounds really tight. It is only 4 minutes, but still delivers in that frontier. No pun intended. And yeah, this 7th track, I need to listen to it more, because it was a really just unclear explanation that I just gave you. But still enjoyable. Still wanted to re-listen to it again sometime. Lead a Normal Life is probably one of my favorites of the album, the 9th one, and this is, like Start and Family Snapshot, one of the most emotional tracks of the record. This strangely gives me a bit of a nostalgic vibe, the Lead a Normal Life track, and this comes because of the synthesizers and the keyboard playing that gives you a really nostalgic feel. And yeah, the vocals by Peter Gabriel, they're really soft spoken, they're really soft in tone, and they really work to progress this song as a really nostalgic and a really sad one. So what Peter Gabriel was going for on Lead a Normal Life is certainly delivered, and yeah, it is actually one of my favorites of the record. I really enjoyed it, and it really feels nostalgic, although I don't have a really nostalgic connection to it because I just discovered it. But still, it still really sounds nostalgic, and you should give it a chance if you haven't listened to it already. It is for me an album highlight. And Biko is, of course, the most popular song of the entire record. The refrain, Biko, or Biko, Biko. And when I first heard that, I definitely thought to myself, yeah, I know this song. I know definitely a Peter Gabriel solo song, and Biko is the most popular one. It is also one of the most longest one, clocking in at 7.5 minutes. It is, of course, radio edited because people can't listen to long songs because attention span. Normies, right? Yeah, but Biko is a really iconic track for Peter Gabriel and a perfect closer for the album. Yeah, just overall, I really enjoyed it. Highlights for me are Intruder, No Self Control, Start, although it isn't really a track, Family Snapshots, Lead a Normal Life, and Biko. Really love those tracks. The other songs were great as well, but not as good as the songs I just mentioned. The rating for this record is a 8.6. Still really enjoyed it. Some moments were a bit boring. The album was consistent, and because of this, it didn't have a lot of risks. Just mostly the album sound was just one-dimensional and was just the same. But that works if you want to make an album consistent. And Peter Gabriel's third record, Melt, definitely is that. I hope you have enjoyed the video. I hope you have enjoyed this album review. Like and subscribe to this channel. You also for more videos like this one. Let me know what you think about the Peter Gabriel discography. Let me know what you think about self-titled third, Revert is Melt. Yeah, just let me know what you think about it in the comments down below and we can talk about it. I hope you have enjoyed this video, do all the things I just said, and yeah, enjoy some Peter Gabriel albums. They're pretty good. God bless, stay safe, take care, and have a nice day.